Christian, great to see you, and thank you for having INKISH as part of your event tomorrow. Lars, I spoke to him a little bit earlier today, your brother and partner in crime, so to speak. He said that he was the more introvert of you two. Would you agree with him?
In general, I would say yes. Yes, if he describes himself like that.
I didn't think of him as introvert, to be honest, because then he said, but I can talk if I need to or I have to. So I was just wondering, when he mentioned that, is that because you are maybe the one that takes the word in larger gatherings, something like that?
Maybe he wanted to express that I'm extrovert, or how do you say in English? Yes, I don't know, but I think it's more or less correct. Whereas when you look at Lars, let's say he's on the front stage in business, and then I'm on backstage, because he's always with our customers, and he brings home the news from our customers and so on and so forth. Maybe on a private basis, could be, should be. He's more introvert, yes.
But you're the more mature, right? Just because of age, right?
No, I'm 3 years older. Whether I'm more mature, I don't know. I don't know.
I was a little bit of a joke, but I was thinking that both of you are born into BHS. We spoke about how your father and his partner acquired BHS in 1993, and what a journey, right?
A long journey, and when we look back to our fathers, it's interesting. We have, of course, our father, Paul Engel, but actually we had a second father, his partner, Ed Bradach.
So that was almost like a father to you guys?
Yes, yes. He had no kids, and the planning from the very beginning was that Lars and myself shall take over his shareholding, and which we of course did with great respect, and therefore he had the nickname the second father. And not only since business was taken over by our fathers, but basically we grew up in BHS. Our father took us to the company which employed him before. We met people at breakfast in our house, joining brunch and lunch and dinner.
In boxes or on plates?
No, on plates, on plates, on plates. When we went to vacation somewhere to Italy, my father always stepped by minimum at 1 or 2 box plants of customers. So we waited in front of the plant, and so we got it with the, how do you say, mother milk? Let's say like that, yes.
And if you look at your two fathers, how would you describe them? Are they very alike, or were they very complementing in the same way as maybe you and Lars are?
My father was, yes, that's a good comparison maybe. My father was a quite also introverted, silent person. I think I heard him shouting 2 times in my life. And this was because I made him upset. I never heard him really to be really angry and mean to people. And the same was, of course, true for Ed Bradach, his partner, but he was more the extroverted. He was the engineer and tried to convince people about ideas and what they must buy and why and so on. Maybe a little similarity, yes, maybe.
You never thought about it, or?
Never thought about it, really. It's the first time.
Okay. What was his name?
Edmund.
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 Okay. And Edmund, because your father and mother were refugees, I heard, from Lars.
My mother was born in Breslau. My father was born in Tresekry, which is today Czech Republic. That's right. Ed Bradach was also a refugee, was raised at the Chiemsee, which is south of Munich. So actually we are a product of my brother and myself. We're the first Germans.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. But the reason I'm asking, and I was intrigued by the story because I think that the human side to your business is extremely important, both the trust you put into your employees and how you build up the organization and how you give back to the society. I mean, it's like, you know, the roots are well founded, right?
For sure, we are, let's say, people. We love people. We love to be around with people. We understand as a company that people build our success, our people, our team build our success. We once had a bus in our small town with an advertising which said, the career of our people determines the success of the company. Mm-hmm. So we put a lot into people, and we give back to people. Mm-hmm. We know that we live in an environment from which we get something, so we also we think it's very normal to give back to the environment where we are and to give back to people. And there are many different management styles over the world. Yeah, I would say we have a people-centric management style. Yeah, and it goes so far that we also take care of not only our people in our company, but for a good part for their families too.
And also refugees that comes from Ukraine, for example.
Of course, in our position, it was immediately we took care of the ladies who came with the small kids, and we opened the kindergarten in our company, where the ladies could learn furthermore German and get a little involved with BHS. Today, most of them are part-time workers in BHS.
Of course, I mean.
And at the same time, the kids were kept in good condition in the kindergarten. We all met each other together always for lunch in one of our restaurants. So this is something very normal for us to do, nothing special.
You mentioned leadership, and you mentioned a people-centric kind of leadership. Do you read books? Do you have do you find inspiration in other leaders?
Of course, you do. Of course you do. You know, with management, not leadership, with management, this is a little bit a difficult subject because actually you cannot learn it. It's not a subject at school. And also at university, it's not called management, it's business and administration or it's economics. But you're not taught how to get along and lead people. So you learn this over time, and I think I learned it from people I met and whom I admired. We went also, of course, to kind of, how do you say, public events like the World Business Forum, to great speakers. Yeah.
So that gave you kind of inspiration to listen to how other industry leaders and managers were managing their businesses.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure, for sure.
Is it fun to learn, or is it also like, oh, damn it, I go home now and I can't implement all the good things I've learned?
No, it's fun. It's fun, and then, of course, it is demanding because you have to try yourself whether it works out. Should be somehow, you should be quite reflective in that way. And from my saying, a good leader, you can see him by how many people follow him. No people following, no leader. Yeah.
But that is what leadership is about. Is basically because, I mean, you know, there is this. I would almost call it a falsum when you say that you have followers on social media. That is a measure. But when you operate a company like BHS, where you have so many people and also a lot of people that have been there for many years, it is because you do something right. Otherwise, people will not stay there, right? Is that what you mean, or did you also talk about leaders in, let's say, LinkedIn kind of relations?
No, it's the leaders, of course, in our company and in business, yeah, not in the social medias. But I also see, from my point of view, a big difference between leadership and management.
Yeah. I understand that. I was just trying to understand because, you know, who you are as a person is often, I mean, when we talk about your background from family, when we talk about you and Lars's fantastic journey that you've been on and how you developed this amazing company and got yourself positioned all over the world, it tells a lot about who you are as people, as a person, basically. So what I'm asking is just trying to figure out what is it that has given you that. I mean, mom and dad background, 2 fathers, it's not too bad. I mean, there's a lot, but that is still like a time ago, right? Because I mean, I think that the more mature you get in a positive way, you also get your own ideas and become the leader in not just as a manager, but a leader as an objective.
This reminds me to another question I got a couple of months ago, and I can explain it to you. I think I was influenced a lot by my first boss. I enjoyed a bank apprenticeship program after gymnasium. And at that time, the gentleman, this was in 1986, at that time, this gentleman, who was the president of this small bank, local bank, joined a team in Munich in the headquarters of this bank, and they thought about the bank concept 2000.
Nice.
So I came out from school, was busy in understanding a book.
Yeah, and you were young. Yeah.
Don't know anything, and now I meet somebody who is not interested in daily work, and not end of the year or these things. No, he was thinking 14 years ahead in a group of other people. And whenever he came back, I was the only one in this bank who was interested what he was doing. So he wondered about this young apprentice. And today we are still very good friends. Today we're still very good friends. And I think this gave me influence to really try to understand the long term. And today I very often use the expression, management means to bring the future to presence. Finish.
Fantastic. But that said, I mean, if you look at the box plant 25, now it gets like really real, but that is also about planning for something that nobody really knows, but you can influence the direction of it. We also talked to both Lars, but also some of your other colleagues that of course you always started defining the next goal, because hopefully BHS doesn't stop at 25, right?
No.
So is that like a direct inspiration for how this bank was trying to define something bigger, or is it just like normal business for you to think this way?
For me today it's normal, but there was of course this influence probably from this incident. And of course we started to think many years ago about the concept 2025 and how to develop BHS from a machinery builder to a plant builder, how to contribute really to our customers. Took us a long time to do the planning, the preparation, the understanding, and today I would say we are on a very good way.
Will you and Lars and your management team ever sit down and talk about like really long-term perspective, or is it 5-10 years time? Is that doable, or?
On the management side, we have a 6 years planning, we have a 3 years planning, and I have a 1 year budgeting. Okay. Yeah. Of course, 6 years also not the long-term future. And sometimes, of course, when we talk about the next 6 years, we should have understanding what is after this 6 years. Anyhow, very difficult.
Oh yeah.
Like right now, we have to understand about these geopolitical tensions between China and America. This is a threat to BHS, a threat to many German companies.
I think it's a threat to a lot of, as you said before the cameras were turned on, it is like that Europe is in some kind of a ping-pong situation between America and China, because they're strong-arming right now, right? How does it influence you directly, or potentially?
That they have to travel a lot. Yeah. I traveled anyhow a lot to China, yeah, and now I have to travel even more to America to gain a better understanding how and where to invest. So it means really more work for me too. That does it mean, huh?
I understand also again from your colleagues that the needs and the demands from the markets are very different from Americas, Europe, and from Asia and China as well. Is that something that you have? I mean, of course, you have to take that into considerations when investing. But I was thinking that if you go to America and invest in a company or establish your own company from ground up, will that be something that will typically be for Americas only, or do all the entities of BHS support all the different business units?
Today, we have a comprehensive, let's say, complementary support of each other. And this is the crux. We need an America business which can live from America as a country. We need in China business which can live from China as a country which do not need this trade.
Just to basically ensure that for whatever political reasons, that you will not be caught in between the trade issues.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
Exactly.
And then it comes to the big issue, of course, is that if you go to America or anywhere in the world, it's difficult to find the skilled people to do that for you, right?
Even more important than skilled people is to understand people in a country. Mm-hmm. And there I learned something, and then the question becomes easy. There I learned something. We should keep Germans in Germany. Not only that we have a teacher's mentality as Germans, stay in Germany for good reason. We learned that the Chinese in China makes much better business than a German. Polish in Poland, France in France, Americans. So we respect these huge differences in culture. So we have very little Germans abroad, some specialists, but not in management. And it will be, and it is much easier for an American president in America to find the right people than for me or any
go
other
there,
German.
yeah.
It becomes more and more difficult.
Even if you go to even if you go to some of the states where there's a lot of German.
Yeah, no, keep the Germans in Germany. Yeah. This we learned, and we are successful with that. Very successful.
And that is interesting because I think that we talk about globalization, but basically it's about sizing a company and understand and respect the cultures, right?
This is very much important. This is really very much important. And understanding and respecting culture is something similar like understanding and respecting people.
Have you, when you established BHS Shanghai in 1999, have you ever, and I don't know if you can answer or will answer this question, but have you ever been exposed or expected to some of the, the things that especially Americans say about how the Chinese government influences your business and how you have to fear how, I wouldn't say trade secrets, but innovations can be used by somebody else? Or
I think there should be a difference between China government and China bureaucracy and China business people.
So there's a huge difference between those?
Yes, of course. Yeah. The China bureaucracy is, in the beginning, it was like in the Wild West. But today...
Was it difficult to manage?
It was completely not to understand. Yeah. But today, this is a bureaucracy, one of the very few bureaucracies in the world I know, which properly works.
Okay.
It really works.
So they support your endeavors of getting things done, basically.
So I cannot say that any German Chinese bureaucrat, despite political, has done anything to us which had not been good.
Okay.
In business, however, you learn what Chinese business is. When you sell a machine, you must know it will be copied. Yeah. It's copied by business people, not by China. Yeah.
So that is like one of the big changes, of course. And I remember I spoke to a friend once. He said that I always open my doors for my competitors because the moment they have learned to copy my product, I'm way ahead of them again.
That's true. And it's not the copy people. They are not dangerous. Okay. There are many Chinese who just switch on their skills and their brain, and they are dangerous.
So what you learned is that with the different people in different parts of the world, let them manage the companies and take advantage of the, let's say, the labor skills, the knowledge skills, develop the product and the services to the market. And then I guess that you still try to consolidate that knowledge at some point, right? Because you need to learn from each other, right?
Yeah, we try, but I think we are not so really successful in that.
So that is for the 2027 plan or the 2030 plan. Learn from each other.
Learn from each other,
right?
But we already know that the 2025 concept in China looks really different.
Oh yeah,
to the American one. It's different. Again, different to the German one. The principles are the same. It's a box plant, but how the box plant operates is significantly different in these countries.
Would you say you are competitive?
By me as a person, for sure, but not expressively.
So are you competitive in the way where you say that if I do products and technology that is better than my competition, I will be the winner? Or is it also by being aggressive in the market? Or, I mean, how do you see yourself in when you said yes, loud and clear, Christian, I heard that.
Yes, I said yes. We are the world market leader. We sell the most corrugators in the world. Many, many boxes in the world are produced on BHS, much more than on any other equipment. I think for whatever reason we are trained to become the number one. And of course we want to stay there. We want to stay there. I don't want to give up this position. Oh.
That would be a shame, wouldn't it?
Yes. No.
So maybe the last question. So when you are competitive and you are number one in the world and you want to stay as number one in the world, how important is competition to keep you number one?
Very important. Maybe not to me, but as a company, I think. Because there is a tendency, if something is good, it's good enough. But good is the enemy of great, as we know from many good management authors. Huh? So you have to challenge yourself, your business, your products, your people constantly. In a positive way. Of course. In a positive way, of course. Huh?
Going to work tomorrow is just another day at the office, but it will be fun tomorrow because you have 80 customers getting in to be excited, hopefully, right?
right? And it will be a very exciting day for me. And I'm quite sure when I go to bed tomorrow evening, maybe I have a glass of wine too much, but I will also have learned again something, for sure.
And as we have learned through the day-to-day, learning is extremely important in the BHS family, surroundings, everything that you are involved with, right?
Yeah, it's learning and make sure that the learned items, things, circumstances are brought to fruition. That they produce results, something you can touch, talk about, look, show. Not only I have understood something. Yes, many people understand something, but do something with it.
Something that defines you?
I would say so, yes, for sure.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Great talking to you.
Thank you.